Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of New Distributor Training for Zija International. My name is Fred Holmes. I'm an independent distributor with Zija, and it's my privilege to be the host this morning. I've got some good stuff I've prepared for all of you who are attending this morning, and certainly for those of you that are, watching the recorded broadcast. I've actually realized we've got, multiple numbers of people, or many more people watch the replay than come in Saturday morning, which is fine, because we always have a good full house on Saturday morning, and honestly have to do the same thing for myself. There's several weekly scheduled presentations, trainings, what have you, that I don't always get to watch, in the evening when they're live, although I prefer to do it live. It goes to my daily method of operation to watch them first thing in the morning, just because I'm, scheduled with my home and so on. So anyway, welcome to all of you, and in particular, welcome to those of you that are just getting started with us in Zija, because that's really what we want to focus on, is the elements that a brand new distributor is going to want to learn to be successful in their new Zija business. And I can tell we've got a lot of new people. We've had a lot of new people coming into a company in the last several weeks, a lot of rank advancements. I was just on a team webinar or video conference a little bit earlier this morning, met a brand new team member. I wonder how my notes are. Tonita Washington, Dr. Tonita Washington. Listen to this story. She started on the products just this past week. I guess they came in last week. She got so excited about her results, she started sharing the product with a number of people. In 4 days, she was able to get on our weight management program and lose 10 pounds. Now, that's spectacular, okay? But it's not necessarily completely unheard of. We have people that'll do that. But what was particularly spectacular is Dr. Washington has already, prior to using Zija, already been able to lose over 40 pounds. So it wasn't like it was the first 10 pounds that she lost. She'd already lost, a lot of weight, and it kind of hit a plateau, and the Zija weight management system broke that plateau, and I would venture to say shattered that plateau by losing 10 pounds in her first 4 days. And as a result of what was happening to her and her enthusiasm, she hit Builder 500 her first week. Now, that's what's happening in Zija today. So why a lot, I recognize some of our established distributors. I don't see you, but I do see the names of how you logged into the webinar. Oh, there's one of my friends, Danielle. How are you? But when I don't recognize lots of names, that's the sign of what's happening with Zija International, because so many new people jumping on board. So I want to do a couple of things here. First off, I want to, of course, recognize that you've made that effort to invest time in the development of your business. I want to give you some resources. For those of you that are new to this platform, you maybe you got put on my email list and you saw the email announcement that went out yesterday, or you're part of you're connected with me on Facebook. You saw the Facebook posting. The promotion was how to become a top income earner in your Zija business. How to become a top income earner. And so that's got to be pretty compelling. Who wouldn't want to be a top income earner, right? I mean, top income earners, will make a lot of money. Okay, not bragging, just saying. But what we really want to focus on is the fundamentals. Okay, we want to have that foundation that can create the knowledge base you need to launch your business, something that can create duplication within your business. And so I'm going to direct you to some resources while we call this New Distributor Training. Every Saturday morning, myself or one of the other leaders is sharing on a different topic. We want to make good use of this time. We want to talk about different things, because there's a lot of things that we can share, okay? So what I do want, especially for those of you that are just getting started, I want to give you that base, that foundation, the baseline of information. And what I've done is I've put together four little short training videos that would be considered the new distributor training. And rather than doing that information every Saturday over and over, that'd be kind of a waste of time. We've got it in a format where you can go see it right away. I encourage you to go to it. I'm going to put it into the chat box. Those of you that are on your mobile devices, tap the screen. You'll see the little, chat bubble window thing there. You can pop this open. I want you to take this information down. Go to my YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is www.youtube, let's spell this correctly, tube.com/Fred Holmes Zija. So Fred Holmes, my name, Zija, all put together. That's my YouTube channel. Now, when you go there, for your own purposes, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel, turn on your little notifications, because when I post a new training or a presentation or any kind of video, you'll get notified that it was posted, and so kind of keep you up to speed. When you go there, that YouTube channel, that's where you're going to find the recordings of previous Saturday morning trainings with myself or another one of our leaders. You'll be able to see recordings of the Thursday night business presentations we do. Great tools for sharing the information and the story of Zija and the income opportunity with your potential team members. Okay, it's a great way for you to be able to share what's going on, document results, even if you're brand new. Something that was taught to me a long time ago. When I first started in this industry, I didn't have the big results from a financial perspective. That was a total non-issue. It wasn't about what I had done. It was about what was possible for the person that I was talking to. Okay, so those are great tools there. Now, when you go to that YouTube channel, you'll see some tabs across the top of the landing page. One of them will say playlists. Go to the playlist, and that's where you will find the 4 videos that I prepared for brand new distributors. Okay, and there's nothing special about the videos, the presentation ability, or how cool the presentation is. It's the information that you want to be focused on. Now, the first one is called New Distributor Training. It's 30 minutes long. I encourage you, as soon as you can, get that video underneath your belt. It is everything that I wanted to know 4 years ago when I first got into this kind of business. In the mid-'80s, I was a cross-country truck driver. I was desperately looking for a way to create substantially more income than a truck driver makes. And was to be able to provide for my son. I had a special needs son. I was going to have to invest a lot of money in the specialized educational resources that he needed that the school district wasn't going to provide. It was going to be up to me, okay? But I also needed a way to create more time freedom in my day-to-day life so I could be with him as he was growing. Both of those things were going to be critical to my son's long-term success in life. And this industry of network marketing has fulfilled on all of those promises and many more that I couldn't even possibly envision 34 years ago. I got in for one reason, but it was entirely, my son, but so much more has happened since then. Okay, so that first 30-minute video, New Distributor Training, it's what we do and how we do it. Okay, that's what that is. And so if you're like me, all I really was interested in was what is it I need to do and how do I do it? Because if you share that with me, I'm going to do the deal, because I need to have the level of income and time freedom that is promised through this enterprise of network marketing. Now, you will find on that playlist 3 more short videos. They're about 10 minutes apiece. How to develop a prospect list, but doing it like the professionals do it. How to develop your Zija story. Mark my words, your personal Zija story is going to be a major component, not just to the success of your business, but to the success of your team members' business. How to do a 90-day game plan to establish momentum in your business and get off to a good start. Those three additional videos, about 10 minutes a piece each, combined, that's what I would call the fast start training. And I really encourage you to invest some time. And frankly, once you watch those videos, make a point of adding that into, that component of your daily method of operation, personal development, skill sets development. Review them periodically. I guarantee you, you will go back 2, 3, 4 times and you'll go, man, I got it. There'll be something that'll pop out at you that you didn't get the first time or the second time or the third time. One of our leaders, Amy McKenzie, she credits me with telling her this. I'm not so sure I did. I think that, but I'll take the accolades. She says, watch those videos until you're able to do the training. And frankly, that's a great thing to do. This is not a business of sales, although we sell our product. This isn't a business of prospecting and recruiting, new customers and distributors, although we do exactly that. We prospect for new customers, new distributors. This is very much a business of teaching others how to succeed. And so certainly being able to have those fundamentals will be very powerful for you. So get that underneath your belt. Now, every Saturday morning when you come back here, we're going to go through different things that you're going to be adding to your journal. Over the years, I've created, many of these books of training and information that I've acquired and then turn around and teach now. And so I encourage you, if you haven't done so already, grab your journal, grab your notebook, get ready to start writing down some things. I'm going to go through 3 major components of what it takes to be a top earner in network marketing and specifically related to the ZJ income opportunity. And one of the things that was taught to me very, very early on, success leaves clues. Okay, if you want what successful people have, then it's real simple. Do what successful people do. This applied when I first started driving trucks. When I made a decision, I want to be a truck driver. Okay, I could have gone to the school, Truckmaster School of Driving, but what I did is I went to a fellow that I knew was like a second or third level removed acquaintance that owned a small trucking company. Learn from the people that are doing it. And the first thing that Louis did is he assigned me to work with Morris in the yard. And Morris, who'd been driving trucks for 40 years, and he'd gotten off the road. He was mainly running the trucks in the yard, getting them loaded and getting them prepared for the line drivers. He took me under his wing and taught me how to do this. So rather than learning from somebody who had a textbook, I learned from somebody who was actually doing the deal. Success leaves clues. And so one of the very first things that I was taught when I first got involved in this business was this concept of why is more important than how. Okay, put that in your notes. Why is more important than how. And a lot of people don't get this part. It takes years and years and years to become a doctor or a surgeon or a dentist or a lawyer or a CPA or all these professions, right? And if you take all of those professions, on the average, every one of those professionals, after many years of education and many years of work in the workforce, they finally get to a point in time where they're tenured and they've got, the high level incomes. I'm going to tell you right now, most of us in network marketing make a lot more money than they do. And we have time, freedom, and flexibility. Okay, the surgeon that repaired my shoulder many years ago, that guy started his day at 4 a.m. and he'd be doing rounds in the hospital at 10 and 11 o'clock at night. In surgery by 5 a.m. in the morning, doing rounds in the hospital in the afternoon and the evening to 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Okay. And if he ever stopped working, he stopped making money. I mean, personally, I'm not interested in working 18, 20 hours a day. And certainly having that lack of freedom to know that if you let up for, a day, a week, a month, a year, you lose your income. Why would you want to do that in network marketing? Because we have even higher levels of income, and it's residual income, and we can choose, what hours do we want to work? When do we want to work? Where do we want to work? Who do we want to work with? All those things. People think that it's got to be much harder to make twice the money a surgeon makes and have time freedom and flexibility. People don't get this. Network marketing is actually pretty simple. Okay. A truck driver can do it. And I'm not trying to tell you, oh, I'm just some dumb truck driver, right? That, made millions of dollars. No, I'm not trying to tell you that. I'm a smart guy. Okay. But what I'm saying is I didn't have to spend decades in education and residency and, junior, surgeon to get to the point in time where I could make the big money. Okay. A couple of years put me on a path to being, top 1% of earners in the country. Now, doesn't it make sense that if what you're looking for is that you want to identify the people who have done it and then focus on what they've done? Every top level earner is going to tell you that if you ask them what are the three most important things, they're probably going to come down to these three things that I'm going to share with you today. First one, why? Anything worth doing has to be important enough to do it. Okay, now I know that maybe kind of sounds a little, funky the way it came out. Real simple, folks. If you want to have, above average income, you're going to have to be above average. If you want to have above average lifestyle, you're going to have to be above average. And if you want those things, your desire for time freedom, above level life, above average lifestyle, above average income, above average health, okay, above average relationships, above average anything. Why you need to have those things is going to have to be above average. This is one of the greatest challenges I see, certainly, and I want this to be, there are people from all over the world that tap into, the Saturday morning replays, but I'm going to say in America, because, I don't know if our problems in America are a whole lot more different than most countries' problems. One of the biggest problems I see in today's world is people do not have high level convictions. Okay, it's the cause of the moment. If you think about it, how many of your friends started the gym beginning of the year, and by April they weren't in the gym, or February, end of January, right? New Year's resolution, resolutions for fitness, for health, for finances. People make commitments, but their why they're doing it is not solid enough to keep them going. There's two more elements, and I'm going to share that with you in a moment. Remember, three things I want to talk to you about today. Why you need to be successful. Whatever it is, okay, the why is the most important thing. People always ask how. One of the things that, one of my mentors taught me, 30 plus years ago. If why is important enough, how will always work its way out. It won't make any difference. If the life of your spouse or your child is important enough, how you save them ain't gonna make no difference. You'll figure out a way to do it, right? And I look back on my own career in network marketing. When I first started, I didn't grow up wanting to be a network marketer. I grew up wanting to be a fire truck. I mean, up till about the age of 4, I think, maybe 5, I wanted to be a fire truck. Now then I realized little boys can't be fire trucks, so then I wanted to drive a truck, right? And so I was doing great. I loved my job. It just didn't offer me the thing that was more important to me, which was to care for my son. Now, I knew that if I was going to provide a platform for my oldest boy to be successful in his world, I was going to have to come up with the money for the financial or the educational resources, and then have an environment where I could be with him on a regular basis, not an absentee father, not a weekend father, but on a regular day-to-day basis to be able to help him. And network marketing was the only way that I could do that. Now, why did I keep going? Because there was nothing more important than my why. What could be more important that would cause me to quit than caring for my son and his future? Nothing. There was nothing more important. When the why is great enough, the how will be found, period. And so start your process by determining why it is. Now, I don't want, folks, you don't have to have a desire to be $1 million earner for these principles to apply. Maybe what you're looking for is that extra $200 or $300 a week, that extra $1,000 a month that would make make all the difference in the world for, the vast majority of families in America. And again, I keep saying America, and in Poland, and in Israel, and in Germany, and in all the places that we're just exploding right now. Europe, Asia, South America, we're all over the place now. If that's what you're looking for, why? The why that has to be there has to be important enough. Maybe it's so that you can, have your child in a private school. Okay, if that's important enough to you, it'll drive you to continue to do the things that are necessary to achieve that $200 or $300 a week, that $1,000 a month. Maybe it's saving for retirement. Maybe it's adding to the kids' college education. Maybe it's helping make sure one of the parents can stay home from work. I mean, if you look at the average family, today they're both working. And back when when I grew up, well, we had dinosaurs to grow. No, but back in the 50s, that was extremely rare. Okay, there was always one parent that was home with the kids. That's probably why we had such much better family relationships, strong family bonds, and that sort of thing. Now, if you look at the average family in America, when you factor in the cost for the second parent to the second job, transportation, clothing, wardrobe, child care, additional groceries, because it's a lot more expensive to buy dinner and bring it home to eat than it is to buy the groceries and make it. When you put all those things together, it really doesn't take a lot to replace that income if you no longer have childcare expenses, 2 or 3 times the cost for groceries, the extra transportation, extra wardrobe. For a lot of people, that extra $1,000 a month from a home-based business is all it would take to make it possible for one of the parents to stay home and raise the kids. Now, that's a powerful, powerful reason for doing ZJ. So while I talk about the higher level incomes, it really makes no difference what your goal is. The principles still apply. So, number one, establish why this is important to you, and make that exercise a critical part of starting your business, because you'll find this in my last point of the morning. Why is what keeps you going when the going gets tough. Okay, guess what? Not every single day in ZJ is a great day. Not every single person that you talk to in ZJ wants to buy your product. Not every single person that you talk to in ZJ about our business wants to join your business. There's going to be days when lots of people say no to you. Now, let me give you another one. There's going to be days when a customer decides they don't want to use the product anymore. Okay? I've had customers say, I've got customers that have been ordering the product from me every single month for a decade. I also had some that quit after a month or two. Okay? I've had distributors that have been building their business and creating income for themselves that are part of my team that have created an ongoing residual income stream for me for a decade. I've had some quit. Okay, not every day is great. Okay, What you need to be looking at is that foundational reason, that keystone of why you're here. And don't lose track of why you're here. The masses will start out with some great aspiration. They'll get some challenges, some distractions, whatever, and they'll quit. That's the masses. Choose not to be one of the masses. Choose to be one of the, the 20%ers, the people that are going to succeed. And it is so much easier to go from the 20%ers to the 5%ers by simply doing what it takes to become a top 20%er. All right, so let's go on number 2. Number 2 is vision. Every successful top income earning distributor in network marketing, certainly within ZJ, but in network marketing, already saw themselves there before they attain that goal. Okay, the ability, I say vision, maybe a better way to phrase that is envision, to envision your success before it happens. One of the foundational personal development books that you have to have, you want to be reading, if you haven't, is James Allen's book, As a Man Thinketh. As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. That was a real challenge for me because one, I'm a special kid too. Reading has never been my strong suit. Let's just say, let's be kind and say it like that, okay? And that particular book, I think, was written, I don't know, in the early 1900s or something like that. The languaging is kind of archaic, and it was very difficult for me to read. So I got the audio cassette tapes. Now you know exactly how old I am. I'm talking about audio cassette tapes, right? For those of you that are part of any one of the alphabet generations that precede, if you were, born after 1970 on audio cassette tape, Google it. Okay, you'll figure out what it is. I got the audio cassette tape so I could hear it. Even that was difficult, but it was easier for me to hear it, rewind it, hear it again, rewind it, hear it again, to understand it. As a Man Thinketh is that the concepts, they are critical to success in anything that you desire to do. It's all about the ability to envision your future. And it's really interesting because, the subconscious mind, which controls so much of our behavior, our reactions to things, our emotions, what have you, subconscious mind is kind of gullible. It pretty much, believes whatever it hears the most of. And sadly, in today's world, most of what we hear is negative about us, negative about the economy, negative about politics, negative about everything. Okay, subconscious mind controls so much of how you respond to things, your emotions, your temperament, your focus, but it's kind of gullible. It kind of believes pretty much whatever you say. And so one of the things that I was taught, and you have to understand, I bought all this stuff, okay? When I first started in the industry, they were saying, well, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. I bought their story because I didn't have any choice. I had to be successful, and if a successful person was telling me this is a good thing to do, then I did it. I didn't question it. I had no time to experiment with, well, is that right, or should I be doing something else? I picked the people that had what I wanted. The people that had the high level income, the people that had the high level lifestyles, the people that had the high level time freedom, relationships with their family and their children, and had personally that high level aura of peace and contentment and happiness. They had what I wanted. So they were the people I took the advice from. And I consistently heard how important this ability to envision your future before it arrives. And what I've found, and I bought the story, and I'm just asking you, buy the story. What I found was the more clear, precise vision that I could develop of where I wanted to go and what it would be like when I got there, the more accurate the results were. Okay, example. Um, my first company, and it was my training ground. I spent 2 years in my very first company. I did pretty good. You know, I made more money I did driving trucks, but it was really the wrong timing for the company. It was an excellent training ground because it was so hard to make money with that company. It never occurred to me that network marketing was easy, because that company, it was a great company, okay? Some of the finest training that's ever existed in the industry, but it was incredibly poor timing in the ebb and flow of business with that company. They went like this, then they went like this, and then they went like this. And I caught them as they were heading to the bottom of that first cycle in their growth curve. And it was a 7-year, effort to get them back up to the top. I didn't have 7 years, okay? I had to do it now. And so I went to a second company. But that training there was so invaluable. I learned how to do what we do. I went to the second company, and that second company, I got them at the very leading edge of a major growth curve. And I just started doing what I'd been doing for the last 2 years. Part of that was envisioning. I remember distinctly going to bed. I remember getting all excited because I finally got a distributor in Hawaii, so I could actually work 2 or 3 hours later than normal, because I could still talk to them, right? Going to bed, midnight 2, whatever time it was. And as I'm going to sleep, I start to envision what the result of what I'm looking for, to become a national marketing director. That was their term and their comp plan, probably a equivalent of, volume-wise, maybe a diamond elite in CJ. And being recognized for the incredible speed at which I got there. And, I started to envision everything. I mean, every night I went to that particular, national conference when I got recognized for hitting that level, and being introduced on stage with the president of the company, and getting my award, and shaking his hand, and posing for the picture, and getting my little pin. And I kept developing that in my mind, and that's what I went to bed with. That was what I fell asleep. Laying in bed, I was imagining, and I kept building on that, short window of time where the recognition for that level of achievement would be. Now, fast forward 11 months from the day I started with that company, I hit that level. Okay, I was awarded, my new pin and my certificate at a national conference. And people afterwards said, that must have been exciting for you to be on stage, shaking the hand of the president of the company and being asked to say a few words. And you know what? It really wasn't. It was kind of like a rerun. It was kind of anticlimactic. But what is amazing is how accurate the vision I had before that happened, and how that related to the actual events of that evening, of that award ceremony evening. Now, was it just coincidental, or did the principles that I'm talking about, did they actually work? Pick it for yourself. Another example, and I wish I had a picture up here. I might even be able to pull one up for you. Much of my life, as I started to achieve the things that I wanted for, for others, for my son, and then, for my distributors, ultimately, for my younger son, my grandson. Some of you know my story. I actually, retired after 10 years in network marketing, took a number of years off. I got to do what everybody dreams of. I worked only if I wanted to. And if it had to be something incredibly exciting to me, or else I didn't bother. And they had to pay me a lot of money to do it, right? And so I typically work for about a year at a time on a project, and I take a couple of years off and do whatever. And then, as things go, somebody come up with an idea. Fred, would you be interested? I go, yeah, that sounds like fun. I go do that. I work because it would be fun, and I make a lot of money, right? And I got a chance to raise my first grandson, and then it was time to come home and take care of mom. And so during that period of time, I started to develop this vision of not the end of my life, but the next chapter of my life after caring with mom. And in my vision was this pristine beach. with nobody on it. The picture that you would figure they'd take for the postcard of this remote island. And the more I thought about it, the more it started to take form. And this is like totally wasn't planned. I'm sorry, folks. Some of you know me well enough to know once I get going on a direction, you got me. Okay. I mean, I'm going there, and let me see if I can. Whoops. Okay. I thought I shut us off here. I'm gonna give me 1 second. I want to see if I can find something for you. I want to show you what I have been envisioning for a long time. Geez, I wonder if I can, this is like, there we go. Give me, sorry folks, I hope I'm not boring you. There we go. All right, hang on a second here. Let's go back here. For a long, long time, I've been envisioning this place that will be, kind of where I will go. Okay, when the time comes that, mom's done with her journey here. And it's not, people say, oh, you mean your retirement? No, I'm gonna keep doing Zija. I mean, this is way too much fun not to do Zija. I just don't necessarily have to do Zija here. So take a look at this. Let's see if we can share this. There you go. That's the beach. That's the beach. That is the beach that I have been envisioning. And that's the beach I go to twice a year for a couple of weeks, my little respite from being at home. And you'll notice this was a really busy day. There's a person right there. And it was a fella and his young kid. That was a real busy day. That beach, 2/3, 3/4 of the time, I'm the only one that's on it. Screen share has stopped as I shared the window. Okay, so what I'm trying to illustrate, folks, is that when you have developed that capacity to clearly visualize, envision what it is that would be the results of why you do this, you are 2/3 of the way to whatever level of success you desire. 2/3 of the way. Now, we'll do the last one and we'll kind of put a bow on it, all right? Third ingredient on how to become a top earner in Zija International network marketing, okay? That is consistency. Consistency is the key. So many, and I had a lot of challenges when I first started in this business, okay? A lot of people have a hard time relating, well, maybe not relating to it, but seeing it. I was not the kind of person that you'd expect to get involved in a business like this. I was typically the person that, at a party, I was the one in the background. In any kind of social setting, I was the one that was in the shadow. I was not comfortable speaking to, presenting and doing that sort of thing. Not terribly, definitely not a competitive guy. A lot of people say, well, Fred, you did so well in Zija, and when you've worked so hard, you must be really competitive, right? Honestly, no. I was never a sports guy. That's just not in my DNA. It's just not in my makeup. Frankly, the only sports thing I ever really did when I was 14, 13, I joined the city recreation department tennis deal. Okay, and I'll be honest with you, it had a whole lot more to do with 13-year-old girls in short skirts than it had to do with me being interested in tennis. Okay, that was my big sports endeavor. All the things that you think top income earners are, great speakers, highly competitive, whatever, right? All the things that you think the top income earners are, that was not me. However, I'd already learned a lesson on how to achieve at the highest levels above people that have tremendously higher levels of education, experience, talent, abilities, and it is consistency. I learned that driving truck. Back in the day, I used to run a sleeper team run by myself. Sleeper team, that's 2 guys in the truck. One sleeps, one drives, to keep it running around the clock. And as a young fella, I ran, 13 Western states over the road. I did a sleeper team run. I did it by myself, and I was always the last person out on the outbound run and the first person back. Now, how could I beat all of these, seasoned 20, 30, 40-year veterans that ran 2 guys in a truck? I beat them because I never stopped. Okay, I kept driving. I kept driving. I kept driving. I never stopped. And when I couldn't go any farther, I'd pull off the right side of the fog line. I'd close my eyes for 10 minutes. I'd get back up. I'd run it again, even if it was only 30 or 40 minutes. And then I'd take another 10-minute nap, and I'd run for an hour. And I'd take it. That's how I did it. It was consistency. It wasn't anything about being special. In the days when when I was running West Coast stuff, doing ice and snow up in Washington State, Oregon State, I was a lot slower than most of the guys. I just didn't quit. Okay, they had more experience. They could run those roads faster. I wouldn't quit. I didn't spend time in the coffee shops or the rest areas or taking naps or seeing my girlfriend in Yakima. Okay, I kept doing the deal. Now, consistency of effort in our business involves establishing a daily method of operation, identifying correct activities, and doing them. And the interesting thing about this, these 3 components to success, these were the things that were shared with me 34 years ago. And I'm certainly not going to tell you that I am the most successful person in network marketing. I know people in network marketing that make $1 million a month. Okay, that's good money, right? But I am definitely one of the top income earners in the industry when you look at cumulative income, in particular today, when you look at the level of income and the strength of the residual income, and then compare that to the amount of time that I put into my business on a daily basis. Okay, because this has always been and will likely always be a part-time business. And folks, I'm not bragging, okay, because Lord knows there is nothing for me to brag about. All right, I am highly favored, I'm blessed beyond measure, more than I deserve. I'm simply sharing with you 3 things that have made all the difference in my success in network marketing. And mark my words, walk up to those you going to Phoenix here in a couple of weeks, or any major event in Zija, walk up to any one of the top income earners and you ask them, how important is it to understand why before you start, to establish a consistent envisioning of what it is you want to accomplish, and then apply the doing part, the consistency. How important are those 3 things to success? And I guarantee you, every single one will say, well, that's pretty much all there is. You summed it up. Now, can we get into techniques and specifics and that sort of thing? Sure. I just mentioned to you consistency, which is the key. It's the action part of establishing why you want to be successful, and then creating that vision so clear that that you can smell it, you can taste it, you can feel feel it on your skin. Because when you do that, when you have that level of clarity, your subconscious mind, which controls so much of how you react and what you do and how you respond, it believes it. It believes it's true. It believes you're already there. You've already got that. It's not fake it till you make it. Okay? It's be it so that you can become it. See it so you can become it. And the 3rd ingredient, the consistency of effort, that's the glue that brings it all together. When I mentioned, I said consistency of effort. daily method of operation, exercising correct activities on a consistent basis, long-term persistence. There's lots of other little components that you can put there. Those are the three critical ingredients to your success. So that's what I wanted to offer you today. I did get a little sidetracked, but hey, that's okay. You know, I learned a long time ago, you know, I believe that if a thought is popped into my mind that has been put there because somebody needed to hear it. Okay, that's what I do. I'm not be it until you see it. I like that. Very good, Lorraine. You know, some of you know, I don't get out as much anymore in the last few years. You know, since you know, mom's required a lot more attention in the last 3 years. But there will come a time occasionally, and I've said this before. You know, I'm not real comfortable at the front of the stage, although I've done an awful lot of that. It's something that's a real challenge for me. But I always start before I get, you know, on stage with a little prayer. Lord, help me do good. Help me deliver the message I'm supposed to deliver, and to you know, to say the things that people need to hear. So I got off on a little bit of a distraction. I'm just assuming that somebody needed to hear that. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to pause. I'm going to go ahead. We're about to wrap up, folks. Wow, a whole lot more of you joined us since I was started here. I have been looking at the list. Hey, all of you, I'm not going to go through everybody's name. Let me go through this through the chat box here. If there's a question you have or comment, something I can help with in the time that we have left here, I'd be happy to do so. Let's see. Good morning to everyone. Oh, Dr. Gayla Gates joined us early on. By the way, you guys pay attention to Dr. Gates, Gayla Gates. If you don't, if you're not friends with her on Facebook, go get on with her Facebook. Gayla Gates, Dr. Gayla. Okay, this is true Zija leadership in the making. All right. I mentioned earlier that I was on a small group video conference. Okay, with one of our leaders. Wanted to make sure that all of the new people entering her business were getting introduced to the upline, you know, the upline diamonds and so on and so forth, so that, you know, you want your team members to access the people that who know more than you, who have done more than you, who have the ability to lead, direct, guide your team members more than you. Okay, I'm constantly talking to Dave. I was talking with David Moses last night at 11 o'clock my time. I think it was 8 o'clock in the morning Israel time, and both of us were deadbeat tired. And you know why that is? It's because I get up at 4 or 5 in the morning, and David works until 2 or 3 in the you know, in the morning, right? But that's the only time we could talk with each other. It was really funny, you know. I said, "Hey, Dave," and he goes, "Well, we had a couple of things to cover," but I'm constantly going to David Moses for support, right? So anyway, Dr. Gates put that call together. That was one of her team members was the lady I was talking about, another doctor that got on the products, lost 10 pounds in the first 4 days, and helped build her 500. So just, you know, connect with Dr. Gates, watch her, you know, lead, follow her, get out of the way, right? She's the leader. You ought to follow her. Okay. Let's see. Hans, good to see you, buddy. Robin, good to see you. Be it until you see it. Yeah. oh, okay. Lorraine's partner, Ray. That's his little ditty. Be it until you see it. I like that. Perfect training, right message, right time. Well, thank you, Kate. There's another couple you need to be looking at is Kate and Brian Ridgely. What you focus on is where you end up. Interesting. I used an illustration. Well, first of all, Qui-Gon Jinn. Your focus determines your destiny. Interesting. Hey, if a Jedi Knight knows that, then maybe that's something you should pay attention to. I had an opportunity here a couple of years ago. Actually, it's probably been 3 years ago, 4 years ago now. I upgrade my boss because I'm self-employed. My boss decided that the company car, the BMW 650, wasn't good enough for me, so he upgraded me to an M6. And I took the opportunity to go take the BMW performance driving school. I took the M school, you know, their big deal school, right? And one of the things that I learned, most people, when they're driving down the road and they see a curve coming up, they're looking at the curve, okay? Professional driver doesn't look at the curve. They look through the curve, around the curve, and to where you're going to end up. Don't look at where you're headed. Look where you're going to be, okay? Wayne Gretzky, right? Same thing. He says, I never go to where the puck is. I go to where it's going to be. And I'll tell you what, when I had that one little tiny adjustment into my driving, and just between me and you guys, I was already a good driver, okay? I was already a good driver. That one little adjustment, and it was amazing, you know. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about how fast I take corners. That might not be a good idea, okay? Anybody here associated with California Highway Patrol? Point I'm making is that all those things. Look where you want to be. What Lorraine says, what you focus on is where you end up. Let's see here. Ralph Husby's grandpa. Oh, interesting. Danielle's got a story on using the CBD squares to Ralph's her partner's husband's grandfather. New lease on life. I'm assuming maybe dementia issues. Folks, I'm gonna tell you right now, okay? Anybody you know who has a loved one, it's addressing dementia issues, you want it. The difference with my mom and getting the CBD squares on her has not just been amazing, it has been absolute, you know, not just miraculous, parting the Red Sea, miraculous, the difference, okay? That this is not optional. You have to tell people that have loved ones that are addressing, you know, and I'm not saying, you know, the memory issues, okay? Memory is still pretty porous, okay? I'm talking about the behavioral issues. Thank you, AJ. I'll have a great weekend. Aloha, Gina. Do you have another book that you recommend for visioning? Oh boy, do I have another book? There's many out there. Dr. Gale, you know, I talked about James Allen's book, As a Man Thinketh, as a book that helps establish that principle of envisioning your future before it happens. There's a lot of them out there. Dr. Gale, let me think about that one and I'll get back with you. I will tell you, and you know, success leaves clues. For those of you that haven't already invested the time to do that, you need to do this, okay? You need to go to Pat Anderson's Vimeo channel, vimeo.com, V-I-M-E-O, okay, vimeo.com. It's kind of like youtube.com, but it's cooler, okay? I've got a YouTube channel. Pat Anderson has a Vimeo channel because she's cooler than I am. But go to her Vimeo channel, and you go to vimeo.com, V-I-V-E-M, okay, I'm gonna have to spell it to make sure I got it right. Vimeo.com. That's it right there. I'm gonna put it in the chat box, www.vimeo.com. Now, when you go there, in their search box, put in Club Moringa. That's I'll do that one for you too. Club Moringa. Search for Club Moringa, and then you'll find her channel. She has just completed a 6-week series of leadership training from some of the company's top earners, top trainers. I was one of them. Top earners, top trainers on a series of different topics. The very first one, and it wasn't a coincidence, the very first topic 6 weeks ago was personal development. And Reed Nelson was the trainer on that particular video. And he mentioned a book, and it's you know, I think the last printing was probably over 20 years ago, maybe more than that. How to Be the best you can be in network marketing. I believe that's the title. John Kalinch. Okay, now I actually know John from a previous company back in the 80s. That book, I'd never read the book. I know the guy, I know the book, I never read the book. Reed Nelson said that was a fantastic first book that he read, or he recommends for first-time distributors, because he's been around for, geez, Reed's been doing this business over 40, maybe 45 years now. But I'm thinking, if a guy like Reed Nelson, who's, got a decade and a half on me, has made he makes my lifetime earnings look like chump change. I mean, I feel like, the poor redheaded stepchild compared to Reed. And he's saying that's a great book to read. Maybe I ought to read that book, right? Remember, Success Leaves Clues. That's actually, I'm only part way into it. Remember, reading is not I'm not Speedy Gonzalez when it comes to reading. But anyway, that might be a good book to look at as well. Let me think about that. I'll give you some more on that, okay? Let's see. Great to see you. Thank you. Stopped chemo. Was losing weight so fast. Turned around the last 2 weeks from our visit. Actually called us to tell us. Wow. That's great, Danielle. What a story. Okay, I'm sorry. We're doing this little thing between me and Danielle about her hubby's grandfather. I am so pleased to hear that. All right, folks. Well, listen, if there's no other questions or comments, I'm going to go ahead and put a wrap on this. Folks, there has never been a time in the history of ZJ International, the 11 years that I've been involved, plus another 2 years the company was in business before I joined. Categorically, there has never been a time in ZJ that is more important for you to focus on the development of your business than right now. The next 5 years in ZJ, for those of you that are willing to do the deal, okay, find the why that'll keep you there, okay? Create a vision that is beyond what you think you're capable of. Because remember, the subconscious mind is gullible. It'll buy your story, okay? The Fred Holmes of 30 plus years ago never really believed that I could, do the things I do for my family, drive the car that I drive, vacation where I vacation. It was all completely beyond the realm of possibility. Yet it's happened. Okay. And then finally, make the commitment to doing the doing part. You will never, ever find an opportunity in ZJ that is greater than the potential you have today. Here's the problem. You will not see what your efforts are today for 2 years. But if you knew that what you did today would be magnified beyond your wildest imagination 2 years from now, would you be willing to do it? Some will and some won't. Okay? You get to choose. Simple as that. All right, I think I'm done here. Can you post the doctor name you mentioned, please? The doctor name that I mentioned. The doctor name that I mentioned. Help me out, Gayla. What doctor did I mention? Gayla, what doctor name did I mention? Okay. The one you said to follow. Gail. Pat Anderson, Dr. Pat. I see what you're talking. I said, pay attention and follow Dr. Gayla Gates. She's on a roll. She's going to the top. Okay, I think that's what we said. Thank you, Robin, for verifying that. And yes, Gayla, it was you. All right. So, folks, I'm done. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Join us next Wednesday evening, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time at www.clubmoringa.com. That'll be for Pat Anderson's Health Talks with Pat. Thursday evening, join us for Thursday night Biz Talks. You can access that through www.fredholmes.com/webinar. And then Saturday morning, right back here, new distributor training. Myself or one of the other leaders, they will be contributing for you. And with that, have a blessed day. Thanks so much for joining us. Hope you had at least as much fun as I did today. All right. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.